Day number 4 of our 5-day challenge for all you business owners. We want you to be your best at work and at home. And one of the best habits that we want you to develop is demonstrating courage. Oftentimes you have shown and demonstrated a lot of courage already. Almost everybody who has their own business has had to, and started that business, has had to demonstrate a lot of courage already. So I commend you for that. But there may still be areas in life where you may not have demonstrated that courage. And that's what we want to address today and challenge you to develop courage in all areas of your life. Remember a time when you were very courageous? For example, when you asked that girl out for a date, or when you started your own business, or whatever it was, whatever time in your life you felt you were very courageous, ask yourself, what happened at that time? What was going on in my mind that made me so courageous? What has made me so courageous then? And what was there that gave me that energy that just overcome any kind of fear that I had to face at the time? And then ask yourself, where in my life can I demonstrate that level of courage that I demonstrated in my most courageous moments that I've experienced in my life? Where can I demonstrate that kind of courage today? One of the things we need to be aware of is what we worry about. So what is it that you worry about the most? In your business life? Maybe at your job? Maybe in your family? Maybe with your health? What is it that you are worried about? And are you thinking about, what does it help me if I do worry? You know, we all know it's really not rational to worry, because when we worry about something, our mind tends to be not so clear. Our mind is focused on what could go wrong. Instead of focused on a solution, we're so focused on the problem. And it's a very disempowering state of mind to be in when we are worried. So think about what worries you the most and how could you address that? And what would change for you if you worried less? One of the things we can do is, when we're worried about something, we address it head on. We try to switch to a solution mindset rather than worry about what could go wrong. Concentrate and focus on, what can I do to make things go well? What is within my power? And then trust in the positive outcome. One area where most people, even very successful people, have not always demonstrated a lot of courage, and that is when it comes to addressing certain people that we may have issues with. So ask yourself, is there somebody in your life, are there any people that you need to have an open and honest conversation with, where you need to demonstrate courage by addressing whatever the issue may be that you have with them? Whether it's some coworker, a colleague, or a business partner, or a customer, whoever it is. Or many times we may demonstrate that courage with people outside of our inner circle or outside of our family. But where we lack the courage is we don't want to address and talk about directly with our family members. So think about, where do you need to demonstrate more courage? Is it your spouse? Is it one of your children? Just think about it and ask yourself, what could change if I muster the courage to address that person? How can I address it intentionally with a solution in mind? Not accusing, but address them and try to have a difficult conversation with people. And during that demonstration, and the reason why we're often afraid and don't have the courage to address somebody because we lack the confidence, sometimes we may lack the skill, and oftentimes we lack the humility to address people. So when you address an issue, make sure that even though your focus is primarily, typically on solving a problem, their focus is, am I being loved or trusted or respected here in this situation? That's their primary focus. If you demonstrate to them that they are cared for and respected and loved, and if that question is answered for them in a positive way, then you will open their minds and their hearts to address the problem, to find a solution together with you. Much more so than if you go straight trying to solve this a problem and take that on head on, so to speak. So we need to develop a skill. We need to have courage again and confidence that if we do approach it in the right way, that things will work out. And we have to have humility to solve any difficult conversations. Hopefully this will help you to be a little bit more courageous in addressing a difficult conversation you may have to have with a person. And when you address them, one thing that has helped me a lot when, and I read about that from somebody, I don't know who coined the phrase, but they said, let me be merciful with those people who sin differently than I do. So maybe people that you need to have a conversation with have struggled in one area in life where you don't think, why is that even a problem? But you may struggle in other areas of your life. So remember this phrase that helps you to have a humble approach when you approach somebody, and that is, let me be merciful with those who sin differently than I do. The last point I want to discuss is sometimes we don't demonstrate courage because we are not fully aware of what we are afraid of. There are 3 types of pain that we can identify, and if we can identify any one of those, then we can address those fears. Sometimes there's loss pain. That means we are afraid that we may lose something if we approach something, if we try to change something, even if we have a conversation with somebody that may be a difficult conversation. We may be afraid to lose something. We may be afraid to offend somebody that is going to be so offended that they will cut off the relationship. Worst case scenario. So we may be afraid we may lose something. Sometimes we are not demonstrating courage because we are afraid that things may be hard. For example, we decide we would like to start a business, but we are afraid that it's going to be too hard. The process pain, we are afraid of that. So examine if that is something, if that kind of pain or that fear is holding you back. And the third one is the outcome pain. We may be concerned that what we are planning to do and what we're hoping to accomplish may not turn out that way, may not turn out the way we had hoped for. And so we are reluctant to approach it. We don't have the courage because we have that outcome pain. So in order for you to demonstrate courage, try to identify these different levels of pain and ask yourself, what would be the worst case scenario? And if so, is there still something positive that come of it? Even if it's painful, what can I learn from it? Sometimes from painful experiences, we learn more than from anything else. Or the process pain. Think of it, even if it's hard, it helps you to grow. It helps you to learn something new. And the outcome pain, even if you are afraid to fail, failure can often be a blessing. It can be a blessing, again, whether you can learn something from it or whether it's set up for something new, for something different, or whether it is a redirection in your life. And sometimes it's a correction. Maybe you approach something where you felt like you were more competent than you were and you still need to work on your skill development or develop more confidence or competence in a certain area, whatever it is. Even if you fail, you can always still consider it a blessing, even if it does feel like a failure. So just want to address that with you as well. So be very aware of what you fear so you can address it properly. So this is the 4th day. Tomorrow on the 5th day, we will address the last of the habits that lead to very high performance, to success, that most people who are successful in the world, or all people who are successful in the world, demonstrate. And I look forward to seeing you then.